Do you like being home alone, locked inside the silence of the night? If so, I suggest you lock all your doors, and most importantly, keep your phone close. You never know, you might need to call the police. This terrifying story took place in 1982 in the small town of Windermere, United Kingdom. Helen, a 16-year-old girl, worked as a babysitter for the Stewart family, a lovely couple with 3 children. That night, they had hired her so they could enjoy a romantic dinner together. It was already dark when Helen knocked on the door. Mr. Stewart answered with a smile. "Come in, make yourself at home. You have the whole house to yourself. The kids are already asleep." The couple quickly left, leaving Helen alone in the large, silent house. She settled comfortably on the couch and opened a book. A few pages in, the phone rang. Surprised, Helen picked up. Silence. No one on the other end. She shrugged, assuming it was a dropped call, and returned to her book. But a few minutes later, the phone rang again. This time, a chilling voice broke the silence. "How are the children?" Then, nothing. A shiver ran down Helen's spine. She assumed it was Mr. Stewart checking on his kids. But if he really wanted an answer, wouldn't he call again? And he did. "How are the children?" repeated the same cold voice. "Mr. Stewart," Helen asked, but there was no response. A sinking feeling took hold of her. She quickly dialed the restaurant where the Stewarts were dining. "Excuse me, has Mr. Stewart tried to call me?" she asked the receptionist. The answer made her blood run cold. "No, he hasn't left his table even once." Helen's heart pounded in her chest. If it wasn't him, then who else knew I was here? It was then that Helen's fear grew even stronger. If it wasn't the owner of the house calling, then who could possibly know she was here? Without waiting for a satisfactory answer, the young woman hurried to call the police. "If he tries to contact you again," the officer replied in a calm voice, "we will trace the origin of the call. All right, Helen, stay calm, above all." But how could she stay calm in such a situation? Her heart felt as if it were about to explode when the phone rang once more. With a trembling hand, she switched off the light before answering. "Why did you turn off the lights?" Helen froze. "Who are you? What do you want?" She tried to stall, hoping the police could trace the call. "I can see you, you know." Helen felt it now. A presence, a sinister shadow watching her. "Okay, fine. You scared me. You win. Are you happy now? Is that what you wanted?" she said, trying to sound defiant, though fear gripped her throat. "No, what I want is to bathe in your blood." A demonic laugh echoed through the receiver. Terrified, Helen slammed the phone down, but it rang again instantly. She screamed, "Leave me alone!" This time, a different voice responded. "Helen, it's the police. We traced the call. Listen to me. You need to get out immediately. The call is coming from inside the house." Helen's blood turned to ice. Without thinking, she lunged for the front door, fumbling with the key. But her hands were shaking too much. The key slipped from her fingers. She bent down to grab it. But at that exact moment, a light flicked on upstairs, casting a shadow on the wall. Helen slowly looked up. At the top of the stairs stood a man, motionless. In his hand, a long knife gleamed, dripping with blood. Helen wanted to scream, but no sound came out. In a final burst of panic, she snatched up the key, managed to unlock the door, and ran outside. The moment she stepped onto the porch, she came face to face with several police officers, guns drawn. They grabbed her and pulled her to safety, while others stormed into the house. A few moments later, 2 officers emerged, dragging a man covered in blood. Helen broke down in tears. The blood wasn't his. It was the blood of the 3 children, murdered in their sleep. Be wary of anonymous calls, especially when they're coming from inside the house.